Hello everybody, I hope you've been enjoying the video series so far. My name's Gareth and I'm the MD of DMU Jazz Band. So I introduced the series quite a few videos ago now, and there's been some fantastic videos from the different members of the band talking about different areas, some performance videos as well, and a couple of multi-instrumentalists on there, Ben and Corey, who've done great videos on playing lots of different instruments, which is kind of what today's video is on. It's on the brass family. One thing I've been quite passionate about in recent years in terms of education is trying to encourage young musicians to play more than one brass instrument, because the principles of buzzing on a mouthpiece, like so, are the same whichever size mouthpiece you use. This embouchure we call it. So this position of your lips, which creates the buzzing sound, if you see here, like that. Okay, it's the same thing that you're doing. The mouthpiece size just varies. So if I hold these up, you've got a trumpet mouthpiece here and a trombone / euphonium mouthpiece there, which I'll explain. I'll explain why I said / euphonium mouthpiece in a second. But they're the same. It's the same buzzing that you're doing on each one. Just move a bit more centre. So we're going. You hear that goes quite a bit lower. And that can go quite low again, but it started a lot higher. So that's just due to the size and the shallowness or depth of each mouthpiece. Now, what you've probably all been wondering for the first minute and 50 seconds of this video is what all these instruments are. So just to give you a bit of background before I explain them, I am primarily a trumpet player. I'll just get this off here. So this is my working trumpet, as it were, at the minute. I've also got this horn here, which was the trumpet before. So you can see one silver, and the other is brass with a gold plate. So I still use this one a fair amount, and I often record with both of them. So if I'm recording multiple trumpet parts, I'll play them both for the different parts, because they are different sounding, two different instruments. So it sounds more like two different people playing, which is quite often good if you're recording in section, as part of a horn section. So if I'm doing trumpets 1, 2, 3, and 4, like you typically have 4 in a big band, and I'm doing, say, all 4 of them, I might do 1 and 3 on this, and then 2 and 4 on the other horn. So yeah, this is my primary instrument. The thing that I started on brass wise, I guess, I played keys originally, but at school. But then I moved onto the trumpet quite early on through my granddad giving me an old second-hand trumpet that he had, because he played various instruments, trombone, etc. So he didn't really get on with it, so he gave it to me, and it kind of went from there, really. So that was the instrument I pursued. So that's the trumpet. One thing I wish I'd done more of growing up, and that's why I advocate it a lot now with younger players, is doubling on different brass instruments. And there's lots of reasons for that. One is that you can get more work. 2 is that in recording sessions, if another part using a different brass instrument needs recording, then you could be the man to do it, because you can, or woman, man or woman to do it, because you can, it might be that you could lay it down through that as well. So on that note, an instrument that's been really useful for me recently is the valve trombone. Okay, so not a slide trombone like this one, which I do play a little bit of as well, but this is actually a P-bone with the slide, as you can see there. All right, so I do play a little bit of that, and I'm fairly versed in it, but well enough to teach it, I always say. But the valve trombone works in a similar way, in that it's got the valves here, okay, and it's in the same key as a trumpet. It's just pitched lower. All right, so it just starts, the bass note you start from is just the same note, but lower than the trumpet. So the valve trombone. Big thank you to my friend Jonathan Reed, who lent me this a good few years ago now. It's on kind of long-term loan, and I've got a lot of use out of it. So that's the valve trombone. I'm going to pop that down here now. Okay, so going back to the trumpet, this kind of here, this little station here at the start, at the front, is we've got a trumpet here at the back, obviously. We've also got the flugel, okay, which is a bit of a sort of softer sound. So we've got on the flugel a much softer, kind of more mellow tone. Yeah, so you've got a bit of a softer sort of mellow sound on there, which is used for quite a lot of ballads and jazz. It's also a big brass band instrument. One of my favourite pieces of music is Concerto Doris Jews, as they call it in brass stuff, but Concerto Duanduez, which is a beautiful piece of music. Do go and check that out. That's a flugel piece in the brass band world, but it is sometimes played on the trumpet. So if I were to play the same thing, this is Georgia on My Mind that I just played on the 2. It's got a bit more of an attacking sort of sound. It's a little bit harsher to listen to, but it can have a bit of a different kind of passion to it and a different kind of feel. What you see here on top of the speaker is just a pocket version of the trumpet. So this is quite useful for sort of travelling round and you know, if you're sort of, quite often if I'm on my bike, I've got a little backpack that this can go in, so it saves not taking my much more expensive trumpet out with me, and I can take this to rehearsals and things like that. It's quite good for practice on holiday. You know, you can take it in your bag, and it hasn't actually too bad a sound on it. So if you look, etc. So it's quite a sort of nice attack on that. It's the first time I played that for quite a while. And I always think they sound and look a little bit like this fella over here, which is the cornet, currently on loan from Forrester's Brass. This is who I played with last year in the championship section. We did a contest with them and a concert at Christmas. And this, if you think brass band world, this is the kind of king of the brass band world, I guess. You go to a brass band with one of these with a trumpet, and you'll be told that you need to play one of these at cornet a lot of the time. That's the tradition. I don't actually know why, but it is. And the flugel and the cornet are both sort of prominent brass band members. You can see the cornet, the flugel, sorry, there. I've got the cornet here, so you might hear things like your hymns in a brass band. So. And what I'm playing there is very much full of vibrato, so that can be created a few different ways. Some of the old school players would do it by shaking the instrument, you know, some of the more traditional players, or they'd move their head to create the vibrato. You can also do it by moving your chin here, and it creates that kind of, like you would do singing, you have that kind of slight wobble on the sound, and that's quite a big characteristic of brass banding. So that's the cornet there. We've also got, just quickly, I've got this, which is the baritone. All right, so it looks like a kind of mini tuba as well. All right, so I've got this again on long-term loan from a school I work at. It was just kind of sitting there not doing anything, so I borrowed it for a Christmas gig. It needs a bit of an oil on most of the house, doesn't it? But yeah, I've got that, which is a traditional upward-facing bell, which you would see in the brass band world quite a lot. And I've also got the forward-facing version of that, which is here, the real big boy I call it, and this is the marching baritone or marching euphonium, and these are used a lot in the American military style bands, a bit like if you look at the sousaphone versus the tuba, one is obviously forward facing and the other is upward facing in terms of their bell, this bit here. And the forward facing element of the sousaphone is so that in the marching parades, if they're standing at the back playing the bass lines, the musicians at the front of the parade could also hear the bass lines. They won't just sort of disappearing up into the air, if you like. So it's the same with this one. It's a forward-facing thing, which is quite handy for me in terms of when I play it in gigs. And what I like about it is it's got a kind of half trombone, half euphonium sound. So you can go really warm on the euphonium side, playing something like Danny Boy maybe. Yeah, so you can play that Danny Boy's kind of that again, hymns, like you know, you'd be playing that on a cornet as well, or a flugel. That kind of warm, very quite British sound, I always like to think. Or you can do the New Orleans sort of style stuff, which I occasionally do in the Brastards if we haven't got a trombone player that day. In King Brastards, that is my New Orleans kind of style band. If I haven't got a trombone player, and I'm the first to admit I'm not the greatest soloist on the slide trombone, although that's one of my lockdown challenges, is I'm trying to get a bit better. I would sometimes use this to cover the sort of trombone frequency, because you can get quite, you can do a lot of the similar stuff that the trombone might play. So you look at one of the tunes that we do in the Brastards is called I Feel Like Funking It Up, and you've got you can get quite funky on it as well. And if you're adept at using the valves, a lot of those lines I just played there, I would usually play on the trumpet, so I just kind of bring them across. Again, another advantage of the valve trombone. The only reason I kind of went for this marching baritone to have as well as the valve trombone is that this has got a much kind of softer tone and can sit well in a horn section. So if I'm recording and doing say trumpet, sax, trombone, and I'm doing the trumpet and trombone parts in the studio, this might be a better option. But for the really kind of warm solo stuff, like I said, or if you want to get funky, this is probably the better of the two. So it's kind of horses for courses and different things for different jobs. Yeah, that's kind of going through the array of my brass instruments. I've also got the piccolo trumpet here, which I'm not going to demonstrate on because it's been a long time since I played it. I don't think it'd be a very nice experience for you to hear that. But this is the piccolo trumpet, and this is pitched starting an octave higher than the trumpet. So again, same key but an octave higher, and is used a lot in classical sort of music. I might do a vid on this one day once I've got a bit more chance to get my chops in for that, but I thought I'd just put it on sort of display for you anyway. And then the really strange one, which I actually got included with this flugel when I bought it in Japan. I was on tour in Japan and I went in the music shop and ended up an hour later trading my current flugel at the time for this flugel here. And part of the deal, after a bit of negotiation, I got the guy in the shop to chuck this in as well, which is a slide trumpet. Again, I'll probably do a video later down the line with it, which is a piece playing both the slide trombone and the slide trumpet, or even thinking about it, could be the valve trombone, which is over there, and the slide trumpet, to kind of just juxtapose the two different instruments. So one would normally be valves and slide, but I'm going to sort of flip the script, if you like. So I hope that's been a good guide to the brass instruments that I play, and I hope that you can see how doubling on brass instruments is a really good thing. It can get you more work. It helps you understand the different the brass family more as a whole, and that can lead to being able to arrange songs better, and do brass arrangements, big band arrangements, orchestral stuff, brass band arrangements, writing original stuff, but also arranging for horn sections. It can give you a much greater understanding if you play more than one of these. You don't have to be a master at them all, but being able to quickly switch between them is a really, really valuable skill. And as well as these, you've also got the French horn, which is a different kettle of fish in itself, with the different style valves, with the rotary valves on there, which trumpets sometimes do have, but the French horn is also in F as well, which is quite a weird key really for us brass players to play in. And I'm the first to admit that I'm probably not the strongest French horn player in the world, and I'm much more comfortable on what you see here in front of you. So anyway, that's all from me. I'll be doing another video soon on the benefits of being a singer and brass player and how the two help each other out. But thank you very much for watching. Keep tuning into the series, we really appreciate it, and I hope these videos have been informative. See you soon.